The Steelers entered the offseason good at wide receiver. They had Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and were likely to draft another guy and having a serviceable Calvin Austin as a deep threat over the top. But now the Steelers enter the season after trading Deontay Johnson with Van Jefferson as their number 2 receiver with George Pickens as the clear-cut one. I have major concerns about the Steelers receiving group and issues with how they handled the offseason with it. So let's break it down of why I believe the Steelers made a horrible mistake. To start out, I think it's important we talk about their slated number 2 receiver right now in Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson has never been the guy Deontay Johnson has been. Replacing him is a major tall task, and in fact, he's only really had one good season. In 2021, he racked up over 800 yards and 6 touchdowns. Nothing spectacular, but still very good. Now, the other 3 seasons in the league, he never eclipsed over 400 yards. Now, he has had some injury issues, but the big leading reason why he signed with the Steelers, and a lot of people have had some hope for him, is he comes from Arthur Smith's system last year. But that did not go well. He only played in 12 games in Smith's system, but he had 101 yards and 0 receiving touchdowns. Van isn't a guy you should rely on to be a number 2. At best, you're currently looking at as number 4 or number 5 on a team with an average receiving group. Now, I know a lot of people are excited about rookie Roman Wilson, which I am too, but I think we need to temper down expectations a bit for his rookie year. Now, unless you're a first-round pick, it's rare to have a gigantic rookie season at wide receiver. Terry McLaurin and Puka Nacua are the only 2 that really come to mind at the receiver position. But on top of that, Wilson also missed a bunch of training camp with an ankle injury, and he missed the entire preseason, missing very valuable reps for a rookie. Now, I know preseason is not the end-all be-all, but when you have not played NFL action yet and the game speeds up and moves faster, even preseason is a drastic jump from college football. Roman Wilson does not have that experience at all. So I'm not saying to damper your expectations for Roman Wilson entirely, but this season, I don't think it's right to expect him to be the number 2 option on a team. He has a lot of talent and will probably be a future very good slot guy for the Steelers for many years to come. Now, to finish talking about the receiving core as a whole, I want to address the tight end room. And this won't be a really long one to take because it's very simple of how to break down tight ends in this offense with, most importantly, the quarterback throwing the football. Russell Wilson historically does not go over the middle of the field unless it's 20 yards down the field. So it's hard to gauge how much production Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, or even Connor Hayward can get. Pat will give you a normal tight end alignment. I don't expect him to get many receiving yards. But if you were to move him out wide as a bigger slot, I think you'd see better production from him. And he would then become the number 2 receiver, which would greatly improve this offense. But can we really rely on Pat Freiermuth to all stay healthy? He's had a history of concussions, missing many games during his NFL career, and he's had some injury issues at Penn State as well. The Steelers are currently looking at a very ill-conceived receiving core. The wide receivers, George Pickens, extremely talented. Roman Wilson has a lot of talent, is a rookie, and got hurt. Van Jefferson was once really good at college, has had one really good NFL season, has had some injury issues, and just hasn't produced at a high rate. Calvin Austin, a guy who came into the league, drafted by the Steelers a couple years ago, same class as George Pickens, got hurt his rookie year, had a fine year last year, I would state, but nothing spectacular. At best, he is just your deep ball guy. And then we look at the tight end room. Russell Wilson does historically not throw to tight ends that often, but Pat Freiermuth is your best option as a second wide receiver if you line him up properly. If you line him up as normal tight end alignment, you're not going to get much production from him. But we look out wide, you have Pickens, Freiermuth, same side of the field, a big slot in Pickens. There's a chance you can make something happen there. But you have to really focus on alignment and how you're going to use these guys. Now overall though, I don't think this group was handled properly. They tried to get Brandon Ayuk, but they seem to not want to give up a whole bunch, which is okay if you have a decent room. But the Steelers do not. They drastically need an upgrade and choose to tiptoe around it. Now their best hope is getting a guy by the trade deadline. But what if you're not in a chance to do anything? It's not crazy to say this team regresses on offense from last year because their receiving room isn't good. They made improvements at quarterback and line, but that's all mute if you guys are supposed to throw the football to people who just can't get open. If you only have George Pickens you can rely on, teams will double team him and they will take away your only reliable option, forcing you to throw the ball to guys you just can't fully trust. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. If you're new to this channel, I'd appreciate if you hit the subscribe button. And as I said, you can come down in the comment section, tell me what you think. I will go back and forth with you, have a good conversation, because the beautiful thing about football, we all have an opinion and we all get to express it. Thank you very much for watching.